Tuperas y Tuperas. Today on Doop by the River, we're going to get into some news and notes of the Philadelphia Union before we dive into the first ever prestigious week of CCL soccer here in the beautiful city of Philadelphia. We're going to look at the CCL. We're also going to look at our own matchup against Deportivo Saprissa. We're going to look back at the CRC football interview. And don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because you do not want to miss this episode of Doop by the River. And let's get this started, guys. Done it! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to Doop by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Before we move forward, just wanted to say hello and welcome to everyone, whether you are here from the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, if you're coming from the Doop by the River podcast Twitter account or my Twitch account. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining on in. And do not forget to like and subscribe to El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at Doop by the River Podcast. What is going on? Guys, listen. Tonight is Soccer Tuesday. It is Doop by the River Tuesdays. Please do not blow up the comments with these score lines, because I really would like to enjoy these games a little later. It is about soccer, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, I have to introduce you to my team, my panel of brilliant soccer minds. First up, we got my man, Mr. Justin Fryberg, the Union's number 2 favorite bald guy. What's going on, Justin? How you feeling tonight, baby?
Pretty damn excited, because for the first time since November, we actually get to talk about a meaningful
you ready, Justin?
soccer game.
Let's go.
Let's go,
dude. We got meaningful Union soccer this week. It is absolutely wild. And this month of April is going to be a crazy one for Philly sports fan, but this is how you definitely started with a historical week. And of course, he is back. He was on the DL, but he is back. He is prime. He is in the best shape of his damn life. Mr. Tim Lollygood! What's going on, Tim? Welcome back, baby.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah,
I've missed the old lens flares and the glasses when I'm trying to look at you guys from my screen here. I missed talking to the people in the chat. I see people talking about the kits already. I got my kit. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for this game. I got my vaccine. It's been a month, so I'm all good to go. So I'm excited to go see some Union soccer in person again this year. So I'll be there at the second leg. So if you see me, come say hi.
We're no longer Doop by the River. We're vaccine by the River, baby. Let's go.
It's so true.
Awesome. I am so blessed and proud to be back with you both here tonight on the inaugural it's opening day. It's our opening day, CCL opening day, and for once we get to participate in this honorary tournament here, but of course we'll get into that. But gentlemen, before we move into CCL, we have some news and notes. We have some laundry to take care of here with our Philadelphia here in our own backyard. And to start off with, I wanted to talk about the latest partnership announcements by the Philadelphia Union, which brought a little bit of controversy, understandably, of course. Don't want to, downgrade the controversy that was with this new partnership. But we've seen, the Union gone through many different partnerships, interesting ones to say the least. But this one, to me, is definitely very interesting. So the Union have agreed to partner up with Founders Brewing Company. If you're not of 21 yet and you have not had an alcoholic beverage, please keep that up. But also, it's actually like it's a domestic beer now. I mean, you can find this beer in almost any liquor store, really. For me, I used to drink Founders. When I was like 21 to 23 age, I didn't really feel like spending money on a craft IPA. So I would buy a Founders. You can buy like a 15 pack for $20. It's like a solid case you could buy of IPAs. But the controversy was there was apparently, some remarks in the past made, some actions made by the brewery that brought some, raised some eyebrows for sure. Justin, you kind of were looking at deeply into this, man. Just briefly, give the gist of what went down here in the past with this company, why the controversy has been brought up.
So I had to do a little bit of digging because I had no idea there was any controversy. I mean, yeah, I've drank a few Founders beers. They have a Goza, a watermelon Goza. That's a half decent beer. They have some darker beers or breakfast stouts, decent beer. Well, back in 2019, they came to a settlement with a former employee who, basically, to sum up the article, you can read about it on NBC News. If you Google Founders Brewing Racism, there was a discrimination lawsuit filed for several reasons. The person who worked at, I believe, the Grand Rapids location claimed that coworkers frequently use the N-word, that he was denied promotions because of his race, and that he was fired because he was starting to go to HR. I didn't see much outside of this, and the only thing that brought it up was the settlement. And then, as far as I can tell, that was under mostly the old ownership, because within that same year that the settlement happened, Founders Brewing was acquired in 90% stake by a Spanish brewing conglomerate. So, and I haven't seen anything since. All the articles that I looked at were dating back to 2019. Now, on first glance, the optics are not great on this at all. First off, you have several local brewing companies who you could have done business with. I mean, heck, 2SP and Yards have both made Sons of Ben beers. You would have thought, even Yards is a pretty big, brewer in this area. Flying Fish. I mean, there's several large breweries that probably could have partnered. That being said, it's the union's prerogative to make whatever business deal they want. I really think, I would hope that they would have done some form of, maybe a deep dive into whether they actually changed their culture given the new majority ownership. But I'm not 100% sure. Again, this was all news to me when I saw it, and the optics don't look great on the incident. The person in the settlement did say that he was seeing potential progress, but at the time it was too early to tell. And again, there's not been a single word, as far as I can tell, any word about it since. Right, so right. I would like to think that the team did their homework, but to the other counterpoint, Sugarman.
They've partnered up with Chick-fil-A before, so
yeah, they've partnered up with Chick-fil-A. Sugarman also likes money, and I'm sure they offered the most money out of any potential partnership. I am not agreeing with this deal at all, but I'm saying that for someone like Sugarman, money talks. Again, it's not a great look, and I really hope the union, again, they could have gone with a local partnership. They didn't. I think it's without knowing if the company made any steps to change their culture. I can't give an answer one way or the other.
Tim, to me, it kind of sounds like, obviously, look, there's different stories with many different big companies throughout our country have stories similar to this. To me, kind of sounds like, this was the past with Founders. It sounds like it's a different ownership group. We don't know how this new ownership group is like, but I mean, I feel like what a lot of people need to realize is that with the union and the MLS, these owners don't profit like what Jeffrey Lurie is profiting in the NFL or Mark Cuban in the NBA. So they're going to take advantage of some of these type of deals. What's your stance here with Founders partnering with the union?
I mean, for me, honestly, I didn't know who Founders was. I've never had a Founders beer. Not gonna lie.
Probably keep it that way.
Yeah, I saw the news come through, and I was like, oh, okay, they partnered with a brewery. Okay, whatever. Then I saw some of the backstory, like Justin alluded to, and I was like, oh, this isn't a good look. And it's just kind of odd that they announced this on the same week as CCL. One of the biggest moments in club history, and you make this kind of business announcement, which is separate. I get it. The club does need to have those partnerships, like Justin said, to make money. Sugarman, the owner, does like money, but I feel like this maybe falls a little bit more on the CBO, Tim McDermott, who does everything business for the union. That's his role. So brokering that deal was probably, it went through him. So it is what it is. I didn't know it was an established brand. I thought it was just some smaller company when I first saw it. So I didn't even know. So I'm very behind on it, to be honest, until I saw all the articles and things like that. But I'm more shocked that they announced the partnership. No, probably, they know the backstory with this. They know what this company kind of has done in that past, a little bit there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not a good look, especially with CCL coming up. Like, that's what you guys want to talk about,
Absolutely. Our friend of the podcast, Michael Thomas, checking in on the topic here. No, I mean, like I said, man, it's definitely weird as well. I actually agree with Justin. Like, we have such a great, strong, like, brewery culture here in Philadelphia. I mean, Christ, there's a literal brewery right outside the stadium,
And the thing is, Yards is like, it's about,
they're nationwide now too.
Yeah.
Founders is big, but Yards is one of that. It's kind of like Sam Adams, how they're considered a craft brewery, but they have a pretty large distribution chain. So, like, it does seem a little weird that Yards wasn't. I mean, and they have that brand new tap room that's been open for a few years now.
I know. I know.
It just seems weird. Like I said, local. You have so many local breweries. It just feels. I don't know. Something feels weird about it.
Right, man. No, you're absolutely right. It's definitely interesting that they chose to pick that one as AK Game, and I never heard of Founders Beer.
Yeah,
listen,
if you're not searching for it, you may
no. You know what it really is like. If you're looking for a beer, like a craft type of beer that's cheap, you go for Founders because it's a cheaper type of beer.
Okay.
So that's really what it was. That's why I used to drink it. When I was 21, 23, I was buying a 15-pack of Founders, drinking it with my buddies on a Friday night,
Well, Johnny, it's not like the Bud Light, Miller Lite cheap,
right.
But it's one of those for a craft beer. It's you get more for a relatively comparative price. It's one of those like, they sell, their big thing is the 15 packs of whatever beer. And you can get it for less than like $20, which for a 15
for IPA,
pack
it's a great deal.
And that's the thing. I think that's what they hang their hat on.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. As my man is agreeing with you.
And I love that AK Gaming says, "Hey, I'm underage. I'm only 15." How have you heard of Founders?
Stay away, AK Gaming. No alcohol for you for another 6 more years. Thomas. I'm sure Thomas and I will be having a beer soon enough.
Man. Mike, we better see your face.
Yes,
it's going to be DOOP by the CCL next week.
Yes, but let us know if you're going to be there Wednesday. We all miss you here, man. Next Wednesday, we all miss you there for sure. So let's move on to the next bit of news. A little less controversial, I would hope. But the Union have signed a new goalkeeper, a bit of a surprise for many Union fans, you may say. And again, another not a surprise, another name that we cannot pronounce. So the Union have signed Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper Greg Ranjinski. So again, guys, what we're going to ask, similar to Stuart Finlay, and I forget the other rumor we were looking at before. Let us know in the comments if the right pronunciation, if you know.
I think it's Ranjit Singh.
Ranjit Singh?
Not Ski.
Not Ski. He's not Polish, not a Polish striker.
Yeah, our Polish striking goalie.
Kasper Shabilko was, I used to call him Prizzy Bilko.
Yep, Prizzy.
Yeah. Prizzy, good old Prizzy, and thank God for Gigio. Gigio, his Polish side, corrected me there.
Oh yeah, I had to listen to that video of the little audio clip like 20 times, and I'm like, Bilko, and I was like,
AK Gaming, stick to that Arizona team. Oh, I have to real quick. I have to say hello to a very dear friend of any stream of mine. Lil Matt Vert. Hey, that's right. Lil Matt Vert. We'll have a special announcement, but yes, the Philadelphia Union do play actual soccer tomorrow in Costa Rica, not in the United States, though. But yes, absolutely. So, Tim, it definitely threw off some Union fans because obviously you got Andre, you got Matt Freese, you got Joe Bendick. But tell them why we actually signed Mr. Greg here.
Yeah, Greg got signed, and rumor has it that this deal got completed before the United States crapped out of the Olympics. So
shouts to my U.S. men's national
team.
Guys.
It was rough, but yeah. So the Union were trying to secure a third goalkeeper should Matt Freese get selected in the summer to go to the Olympics. We all know that Andre Blake will also, likely get call-ups with Jamaica. So they were, we're hoping that still happens there.
Given that dispute between him and the National Federation.
Yeah. That too, but still, so the Union were kind of playing the game of, okay, if this happens, if we lose Andre and we lose Matt Freese, then we literally have just Joe Bendick, and they needed another keeper, and now they got Greg. So, hey, they have 4 goalkeepers. If something happens and there's injuries,
not the worst thing.
Then we might see Greg, but no injuries to goalkeepers this year. We're not having that.
Please, none of that.
No, more.
Justin, have you watched any tape on Mr. Greg?
I'm gonna be honest, no. And trust me,
I'm surprised. You're the type to find some sort of illegal highlights.
I know. I really am that the guy that like.
That's why we love you.
If there's a random player playing somewhere, I've seen the grainy highlight videos that they've put together with the whatever the European club music that they've put as the backing for. No, from what I can tell, he's bounced around. I know he played in Orlando. I think he was with Minnesota last year when they had their injury problems in goal.
City here too, and
he's played a lot of places. He's from my understanding. Tim was right, and I did take a look. And Ernst, I think Ernst alluded to it. He didn't directly say it, that this was a deal that had been completed, and they were waiting to announce because, well, they were kind of like, okay, let's give ourselves some options.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it, considering the one season where everyone was hurt and we were using Brian Silvestri and then Charlie Lyon when we dipped into the goalie pool before. I'm not opposed to having more goalies on the roster.
Right.
It's something that you're not normally going to have many goalies in that situation, but you can also have freak years. Like I say, just ask the Union from a few years ago when everyone was getting hurt. Like it happens, but it's not the worst position to have a bit of depth in.
Right. Mike letting us know. That's right. There is a goal.
Yeah, I would say he'll definitely be out for the Gold Cup. Maybe Nations League too, because Nations League is before.
Matt Freese is still young enough to. I guess he is 23, still young enough to play for you too. Yeah. What's the cutoff age now? Because obviously,
essentially, it's a U23 team.
Yeah.
So Matt Freese is going to milk his last year there with the U2.
Hey, that's fine if he can get some consistent play. That's really what it's about for him.
Did they exactly figure out what because the reserve league hasn't been set up yet? Are they just doing like a number of friendlies?
I've heard nothing on the U2 season. Like what they're actually doing, other than when they put out like their preseason games and what they're doing there. And I mean, they've showed some highlights that look okay.
I think maybe friendlies. I thought I heard someone say that they were just going to be scrimmages against a ton of teams.
Yeah,
just to try to keep in the shit, because I don't think the reserve league is supposed to happen until next year.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything moving on that at all.
Interesting stuff. All right, well, guys, that is all we have for you as far as news and notes go for the Philadelphia Union, because they're playing soccer this week, guys. That is why. So obviously we all know we talked about it. We have CCL tomorrow. Right now, I'm sorry. Well, for us, it is tomorrow. Right now, it is going on. So before we dive into our matchup, what we wanted to do, guys, is look. We are feeling that CCL fever. Like, we're feeling it. Like, for us, we always watched, we always peeked, like checked out what was going on, but it didn't feel the same because our blue and gold weren't in this tournament. But now we're in it. We are all in on this tournament. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go over each matchup here, and then we're going to give you our predictions. Here's the thing. So Marathon y the Portland Timbers have already played. They literally just finished right as we started recording the pod, and that one ended in a 2-2 draw. However, Portland was the away team. So in soccer, in tournaments like this, there is the away goal, which can equivalent to two goals. So it's important to not allow those away goals and for you to get those away goals as well. So Portland right now has the edge there. Currently right now, they're in the 15th minute. I have Alajuelense and Atlanta United going on my phone left to me. And yes, guys, for the Philly sports fans that are tuning in, I do have the Mets and the Phils on the other screen so I can just peek. But my eyes are right here, guys. The little one over there.
I'm trying to. I got Atlanta Alajuelense on my big monitor. I got Pod here. I'm like trying to like.
Right. I will say because I did watch the Portland Marathon a little bit. I watched mostly the second half. Listen, playing it doesn't matter, and the Union are going to deal with this tomorrow. We'll get to that, but playing in Central America, it can definitely be tough on a lot of these
field. That grass was
god awful,
intentionally thick, and people were bringing up chunks everywhere. It was CONCACAF. That was peak CONCACAF.
Holy crap! Even Cherry Hill West soccer team had better turf than that crap, man. But,
I played lacrosse. I played lacrosse in high school on fields better than that. I've actually played on fields worse than that.
But look, I will say this. Obviously, Honduras is, I believe they are in the category of third world. I'd have to double check on that. But Marathon, from my understanding, is a bigger club in Honduras. I would think that they would be able to at least have the proper grass to be placed down. I don't know their economics or their finances currently, but that was definitely noticeable.
I'm sure that was intentional. It's
probably
whatever you do to get an advantage.
It's like NYCFC in Yankee Stadium, man.
Yeah, I love our resident Texan Tommy got San Lorenzo versus Santos FC on one, Atlanta on the second. My man is multitasking soccer, and Tommy, that's why we love you.
Yes. And see, Mike supports my Phillies craze too. JTF. Mike, we're only soccer right now, all right? No, I'm just kidding.
Come on.
Oh man, yeah. So all right. So right now, Alajuelense and Atlanta United are going on. Obviously, for me, when I'm thinking about Atlanta United, to me, it's what Josef looks like. They just got started, so really tough to tell. I don't even think he started.
He's on the bench.
He is on the bench, right? I saw that. I think they put Lopez up top, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
4-2-3-1 still?
38-year-old guy they signed? Or who's the? Is that the guy from
Paraguay, right? No, the kid, right?
No, there's a 19-year-old midfielder, but then there's the 38-year-old guy from Racing Club. That.
Oh, okay.
I think they signed him because he played under Heinze at one point. And the dude's like, he's like, yeah, I signed here because he's that veteran leadership. He might play a few games, but
yeah.
Jurgen Damm also on the bench. So, I mean, for me, it kind of felt like this all season with Atlanta, they tried to kind of get back to their essence, right? Like, you get back to the roots of South America. I felt like they really attacked that again. And obviously, for me, all eyes on Josef. What is Josef going to look like? I'm sure he's going to get in the second half here. But if he looks anything near what he looked like before the injury, that could be really dangerous. We'll start with Justin here, man. What do you see happening in the rest of this game? I should say the 19th minute right now.
Well, so according to AK Gaming, I was right. Lopez is the 38-year-old they signed from Racing Club. Apparently, the guy apparently is in phenomenal shape, was bagging goals like crazy, and so that's a good depth option. I think one of the better striker options they've had behind Josef in a while. Listen, when the CCL draw came out, the two clubs that everyone said you don't want to face were Club Leon and Alajuelense. Because people go, oh, well, Saprissa. And as Eddie's been saying for a while, Saprissa's been playing pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they switched managers. They've had a bunch of players leave in the winter. And Alajuelense is in first place. I mean, it's and Leon, as everyone knows, they had a bit of a rough go last year in CCL, losing to LAFC. But listen, it's with Atlanta, and I'll say Eddie was right on this. Atlanta fans are pretty damn overconfident. Like I know a few Atlanta fans, and for the most part, they can be pretty reasonable. But then you have all these fans going, Joseph's back. We're winning everything. We're winning it all. And it's like, are you really going to win? Like they were the odds-on favorite in they were favored in this matchup. But I don't know. I think I'm not 100% sold. I know with Heinze back, they've brought that South American flair, that style that they were used to, where it was, free-flowing, very counter-attacking. De Boer with the total soccer is not what Atlanta really signed up for. At least, when they initially had Tata Martino for those first 2 years. So I think the general vibes and the culture of the team are very rooted in this South American style. I mean, given that's how they started. And I don't know too much about Heinze as a coach. I
guess he's going to coach a national team next, right?
Yeah. You suck your way to the top. That's good. I think it's and Mike's right. If Joseph's able to score anything's possible. If he's easing back into it, I think they live or die on how well Joseph does. Right. For as well as they've put in the midfield, and don't get me wrong, having a pure clinical, striker like that is exactly what the Union have been searching for since the beginning, and what I would love for them to have. But Atlanta is so reliant on. I mean, it's clear they miss when you had Almiron and Joseph. You had a midfield, striker partnership that was fantastic. I mean, they were dangerous. With Julian like you had multiple things. Now the team seems to be a lot more reliant on Joseph, and I mean, I know as good as he is, that's a lot of pressure to put on a guy coming back from a serious knee injury.
Yeah.
So,
right.
While a lot of people favor Atlanta in this matchup, I think it's going to be very close. I think if they need to get at least. I'm saying this with a lot of the MLS teams. They all need to get at least one away goal to give themselves a chance for the second leg. Even if they're down like 2-1, you want to get at least one goal for the away leg, because with Champions League, they're still doing the away goals rule. So away goals are always crucial. I'm not a massive fan of the away goals rule, but I understand it's a good tactic to help keep things simple.
Oh, it's always fun explaining to American sports fans too.
Yeah.
It's another one of those crazy rules. Tim, man, what do you think, man? This should be an interesting matchup, man.
It should be an interesting matchup. I really liked it when I saw it in the draw. But I'm kind of along the lines of Justin and even Mike, what he was saying in the chat there. If Joseph is in and he's getting service and he's scoring goals, Atlanta could do very well in this match, especially away. But they're playing the number one team from Costa Rica, who has shown that they're no joke, especially as Union fans. You guys been talking about listening to Eddie. He's been doing the circuits right now with the Union podcasts and everything. Like he's saying, like this is no joke of a team. Like we get, I get that it's from Costa Rica, and you think Atlanta United is top dog, but they're not there yet. They had a bad year last year. They're just coming off a preseason against the team who is in the heat of their season. So wow. I didn't have Atlanta winning away. I mean, in a 2-leg playoff, anything is possible. But yeah, I had them losing this first match.
Oh, and an interesting stat, and I just popped up on the broadcast. The amount of games that both teams have played up to this point. Alajuelense has played 18 games to Atlanta's 0.
Right.
Well, that's going to be the trend we'll see a lot and with a lot of these matches.
That's the thing. It's going to be all these teams. And we could talk about how the MLS schedule is off that. And I heard this suggested before that they could do how the Mexican League has the Apertura and the Clausura. I would be in favor of that. You split, you go, from like maybe summer through fall, you take a break in the winter and come back and then do like February to like May. Like you split the season and still kind of have the European season, but you're not playing straight through the winter.
We'll see, man. They're gonna have to fix something because it definitely makes it tough for us. I do think that in this matchup, I feel like Alajuelense, they're hot. I mean, we'll get to Eddie's interview, but these guys are in tip-top shape right now. And Atlanta, even though Josef is playing the El Senior role tonight, I don't know if it's going to be enough for a team like this. As like I'm watching right now, their forwards are just they're taking it to the back line of Atlanta early on, but.
And their jerseys, man,
that's nice. That is,
it's the numbering.
Nice.
It's like metallic, like the glittery. Like it's closer they get, it kind of is trippy, to be honest.
Yeah, well, unfortunately,
it's throwing me for a loop a bit.
Unfortunately, Adidas would never.
Well, come on,
that's a topic for another day. All right, let's move on to the next matchup. So the late one tonight, we have Arache, I believe from Haiti, right? Arache, I guess I should say, and Cruz Azul, La Máquina, going up against Arache there. Although, listen, if you guys know me, I do enjoy Liga MX. I do enjoy rooting for Cruz Azul. I do know their fortunes when it comes to tournaments, especially like this. But I would assume that they would take care of business here, right, Tim?
That's yes. For the minimal amount of research that I've done on teams that are not in MLS right now, that's from what I've read and what I've seen. Yes, that is what should happen, but it's CONCACAF.
Please do not put my Cruz Azul fans through more pain, Cruz Azul.
I was going to say, and from what I've heard, like they said, this club was the team that if you wanted to be matched up against, it would most likely be a winning thing. Obviously, you're not overlooking, but Haiti is, again, this is one of those Cinderella teams that if they won their matchup, it'd be huge. But against Cruz Azul, I'm not. Even though Cruz Azul's had their unfortunate luck in this tournament, I'm not. I think they can do enough.
Mike, why do you bring this? Why, Mike? Why? Those poor, beautiful people have gone through so much pain, man. It's terrible. It is terrible. I mean, Cruz Azul should roll through this matchup. They absolutely should. Let's move on to tomorrow's stuff. So obviously we'll skip the Union for right now. Very good. This is a very entertaining first matchup. We have Club Leon, obviously the reigning Liga MX champs, going up against TFC, essentially the Kings of Canada, but it's a different team this year. Obviously, Chris Armas is there as the new manager. Josie Altidore is like, he's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like a combination. He's being like a little KD, a little OBJ, a little Antonio Brown, and I don't know why he's
and also the glass bones and paper skin guy from SpongeBob.
Yes,
it just makes no sense. Tim, I'll let you start here, man. This is a go matchup, but what do you see happening here in the first leg tomorrow?
It's a good matchup, but again, it's so hard to judge these types of games with teams that have been playing against MLS sides that have just had a preseason, especially with a team like Toronto FC, like you mentioned, the change of coach. You still have sort of that nucleus that has done so well in MLS, but can they get it done, against a good opponent from Liga MX? When this matchup was drawn, I think everyone was sort of salivating over the type of matches that this could produce. TFC has shown in the past that they can play well in this type of competition. Different coach, different players now, but it should be a close one. Tolman versus Altidore, that's a good one. No, but I'd have to say in this matchup, I think Leon take care of business. It's a team that's coming off a preseason, and I think that Leon win at home. So
Yes. Although from my understanding, Club Leon have struggled in this new season, but
get-right game. It's a get-right game for them.
Well, I mean, this is a different animal. This is CCL. I mean, you throw out what you've done in league play. This is a new monster you're going to deal with. So I definitely agree with you there. Yes, AK game in Twelman versus Altidore. That was an interesting Twitter beef. And I definitely would pay money to see them in the rink. Unfortunately, though, Taylor, like the Nate Robinson, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whoever he fought, I put my money on Nate Robinson. Unfortunately, I lost that one. I put my money on Taylor, and I probably lose that one as well. But besides the point, Josie, listen, besides the Twelman and Josie's going at it with Armis, from my understanding. And I want to give a shout to MLS Extra Time. I haven't really listened to them over the last year. That's all my bad. But I did actually pay attention to their episode today. And from what I heard on that podcast, Josie's going at it with Chris Armis as well. I guess they are not on the same page.
With the last few years. So I don't know what he's trying to accomplish if he wants help.
Yeah.
I don't. That to me just doesn't sound like a recipe for success in this time. I mean, obviously Toronto, we all remember their great run. Like, was it 2018, 2019, when they went all the way to the finals just to lose to Chivas, I believe they lost to, right? Yeah. But no. So, Justin, what do you think's going to happen here with Leon and Toronto?
I think Tim was definitely giving them a lot of credit. I think Leon is going to wax the floor.
Oh my God.
With Toronto. I think Toronto is not nearly the club they were even a couple years ago. I think I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with Akinola or Altidore. I mean, I think Pozuelo was on an island by himself last year. I just think that defense was crap. That defense was terrible. If your top pairing is Chris Mavinga and Omar Gonzalez, I like Mavinga. He's a good center back, but Gonzalez blows now. He is not nearly the center back that he was for the Galaxy, and he is exactly showing why I blame him for a lot of what happened in the 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle. So listen, I think people are giving Toronto a lot of credit because of how they were a few years ago. Like, they have not been the same in a couple years at least. And I know, okay, Chris Armis is a new coach, but Armis didn't exactly shower himself in glory in Red Bull. I mean, he inherited a team that was already pretty good from Jesse Marsh. They barely coasted by. They won the Shield that year, but that definitely wasn't Armis's doing. And then the next year,
they never added to those teams, though.
Yeah, and then you end up losing to the Union like you did in the playoffs.
Thank you for that, by the way.
I do not see. I'm thinking. I'm going to say I think it's going to be a 3-0 result.
Oof.
First leg, maybe 3-1, but I'm feeling 3-0. I do not. I have no confidence in Toronto to make this a favorable matchup.
Well, we just lost our Canadian fans because of you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They're still club the foot.
And the Whitecaps, the Utah Whitecaps.
Oh yeah, I always forget the Whitecaps. My bad.
It's like in North Carolina, you got Duke, North Carolina. Everyone forgets about NC State. Everyone forgets about Vancouver. It's okay. All right. The next matchup we have Olimpia of Honduras and Club America, the Giants of Mexico. Tim, again, no surprise here, right?
It's Club America. That's it.
Even with the new coach,
that's who they are. They live for these types of competitions. They're always up for it.
I'm intrigued how far they're going to go this season, but no, I don't expect to see any upsets here. What about you, Justin?
I think Club America. This is their tournament. Like, they're one of those teams that, for whatever reason, they play the dark arts.
Yeah,
that is CONCACAF. They know how to. I do really hat TFC. No, I listen. I have my own gripes against Toronto, but that's separately related.
We're Philly sports fans. We have every right to hate Toronto. Okay, I'm not trying to bring it all up. But
Mike is right. I think out of the 4 Liga MX teams, Lyon is 8th.
Yes.
But they have won. They have had a pretty good results as of late. So I think that's why I'm feeling a little more confident about them. But Club America, this is, with Memo Ochoa in net, Gio Dos Santos, like that team, for all the crap we gave Gio.
Mexican national team.
No, but for all the crap we gave Gio at the Galaxy, he's good in Liga MX.
Yeah.
I think certain guys, like you look at like a Gignac, some guys just thrive in Liga MX. And also, former Union striker Fernando Ricigueta seems to thrive in
hey. I like
so it. I think it's one of those things that, as much as you want to count them out, this is their tournament. They seem to qualify almost every year.
Yeah.
And they seem to at least win a few rounds. So I think you can pencil Club America in at least to the next round.
I agree. All right. Next up, this is the last MLS one before we get to our union, of course. Real Esteli of Nicaragua going up against the reigning MLS Cup champs, the Columbus Crew. Look, Real Esteli, this is the class of Nicaragua. They have a bunch of national team players on there, but again, they're not that talented down there in Nicaragua. But I do feel like this is a possibility where Columbus could overlook an opponent like Real Esteli. Justin, what do you think, man?
So from what I've heard from Crew fans, they're feeling really confident. I don't think it's overconfidence, but I think they're feeling really confident. And they have every right to be, given how they played last year. And given they basically re-signed everyone, and they added Molino, and they added BWP. Like, for a team that was already good on the attacking front, you go and add 2 of the more prolific goal scorers in this league right now. For all the people who wrote off BWP, he had a career resurgence last year in LAFC. I'm actually surprised they didn't re-sign him because they always need that depth. I think realistically, I still think Crew will win, but I would not be surprised if this is one of the uglier matchups in the first round.
That's what I'm saying, man. Something to me feels too easy right now for Columbus. And anytime we talk about too easy for an MLS club in CCL, that doesn't usually.
I've never heard that sentence uttered before. MLS and CCL. Johnny, we
might have to think back. But Tim, what do you think? Selling and Screw.
You guys brought something up that's interesting. Like, I don't know. I think I'm way too high on Columbus now. And I think that's just because of me following MLS too closely and seeing their off season, seeing how they're doing right now. I don't know. Like, I thought that Columbus had the best chances of getting a win as an away MLS club in that first leg. And I still kind of feel that way. I feel like they'll kind of grind it out and they'll find a way maybe to get a result and get that win. But yeah, it's going to be tough. Like you guys are saying, traveling across the world to get there. And we saw tonight, like Portland, getting a result when they maybe were favored a little bit, but not maybe a lot. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like Columbus could be that team that pulls off the win. So that's where I'm at. I don't know.
Hey,
I love it, Mike. We're
Tom,
down.
Don't joke. Dan has said getting fried chicken in Japan around Christmas is like you got to do it like a month in advance. Like you gotta book that. And they, from what I've heard, they double fry. It's light. Listen, I'd love to have some Japanese fried chicken.
They're very multicultural in Japan. I love it.
Oh yeah,
you
no,
don't really get anything in Tokyo.
It's
good.
The big things, and Dan is on. If you ever, which shouts to the Union Happy Hour.
Yes, sir.
Dan's taken us on some field trips, and one of the field trips he took us on was literally going to one of the convenience stores, and it's nothing like a convenience store in America. It's legit. Some of the some of the best food there is at convenience stores. Like it's a huge thing, and yeah, fried chicken around Christmas in Japan is a huge deal.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's look at the last matchup before we get into our preview here. So last but not least, we have Atletico Pantoja from República Dominicana versus Club Monterrey, Los Rayados of Liga MX here. Monterrey was it 2 years ago they won? Now these are all sort of jumbled together.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Justin, I'll let you.
The longest decade ever. I don't know.
Thanks to 2020. Justin, so for this one, I mean, this should be Monterrey, right? Like,
yeah,
they had a good outing last time, right? Or 2 years ago?
Whatever the last time they were in it, I think they made a pretty good run.
Yeah,
I don't see Monterrey being given much of a threat, but who knows? Again, CONCACAF Champions League, anything can happen. But I feel like it's Monterrey's to lose, really.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was okay. So it was when they played the Red Bull, and I remember Christian Polanco went to the game at Red Bull Arena, and he wasn't sure who to root for because obviously he's a proud Dominican, and he obviously hates the Red Bull. But no, that was definitely going. Tim, what about you, man? Monterrey has to run away with this, right?
I mean, I'm with you guys 100%, but we've been picking majority of the favorites, the quote unquote favorites, and it's CONCACAF, and something's got to happen. So why not in this one?
I told you, Stelly's the one you got to look at.
Yeah, you might be right about that. Maybe I'll have to go back on that one. But no, I mean, it's CONCACAF Champions League. There's going to be something crazy that happens in every single one of these matches.
Oh.
And
that was rough. I did see that.
Guzan's got to be getting a wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's getting chippy down there in Costa Rica, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if it happens tomorrow for the Union. But of course, as we are recording live, we are watching the Alajuelense Atlantic match. It's getting pretty chippy down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's. So all right, so we have one more bit of business to get to, and that's the most important part. That's why most of us are here.
They changed it to a red. Guzan's gone.
Oh God.
Guzan got a red card?
Guzan just got a red.
He was the last game back, and that was judged up.
And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, the A just got CONCACAF.
Our pod just got CONCACAF.
Wait, damn it! Hold on. Where's wait? I need hair. Guzan's got a bad name to us balds.
Someone's getting CONCACAF.
Everybody.
Bad name to us balds. I got hair, right?
Man.
Oh, I love it. We literally have the CCL fever here, as for the first time in DOOP by the River history, we got CONCACAF.
Yep.
It's great. This kid, who is this kid that is coming out here? He looks like he is 18, man. CCL fever, that is right. That is right. So, okay, so they're showing the replay here.
Brad giving all us.
Oh, yeah.
It's a red.
Oh, yeah.
It's a red.
So, Brad, it looks like the number 9 for Alajuelense was on a breakaway there, and Brad Guzan out of the box, goes for the slide tackle, gets all ankles.
Like a colonoscopy, baby.
And it was all ankles there.
My
yeah.
Lord.
Oh, man. I can't wait for MLS to start again, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is awesome. Tomorrow night's gonna be wacky. We already know that.
Yeah,
guys.
it's gonna be fun.
But let's get to it, guys. So obviously, the last match, of course, Deportivo Saprissa versus the Philadelphia Union down in Ricardo Saprissa Stadium in San Jose, Costa Rica at 6 p.m. Listen, before we get into it, guys, this is a special moment for all Union fans, and I think tomorrow, during the pregame and everything, guys, just take it in. Seriously, just take it in. Like I constantly keep telling this, but I to this day cannot believe that we are watching our Union in CONCACAF Champions League. It is a remarkable day. So before we get into our preview of the match, yesterday we put out the interview with CRC Football, aka Eddie from Brooklyn, who's been very busy with the MLS podcast, and we appreciate him hanging out with us for a little bit, breaking down the Saprissa match. But what we want to do is we just want to give a quick couple-minute clip of the episode that we put out yesterday, the interview with Eddie, just talking about his thoughts on Saprissa heading in tomorrow, so we can give a little bit of his perspective. So we're gonna try to get this working here. Give us 2 seconds. Here we go. Chrome tab. All right, let's go. I mean, he's not like a Call of Duty in Bali, so that was just really rough. And then on to the Union overhaul point. Really, what it was that they lost Mark McKenzie and Brandon Aronson, 2 big young pieces of that team from last year, and that's kind of why we have that overhaul. 2 key pieces, so we'll see how they can bounce back from that. Eddie, I wanted to know how is this tactically? How is this team built? What is the strengths? How does Saprissa kill their opponents?
So they under Centeno were on sometimes a double pivot of Torres and Angulo to break teams down, which is very attack-minded. But when Barantes is healthy, you can kind of count on Barantes to kind of swap in and out with David Guzman. So you'll have like a true holding mid and more of an 8, and then like Angulo in front. The strength really comes on the wings when Sinclair was playing. So Sinclair was the backup striker. I think he did some time in USL, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a 24-year-old kid that stepped in when Ariel Rodriguez got hurt, and his style really fit Colindres and Bolaños' style on the wings, where he's less of a poacher like Ariel Rodriguez is, and he's going to get his wingers involved a little bit more. So when he was playing, you kind of saw the strengths that Costa Rica used to have, where they would kill you with Bolaños and Colindres on the wings. They like their 1v1 matchups. They would throw those third man runs into the box, and that's how they would basically break teams down. And having Watson back there, basically clearing everything forward in transition is pretty helpful. So that's basically the shape and the system that you can rely on. With Rodriguez coming back in, it feels a little bit more cross happy and hopeful in their attack. So if Rodriguez starts, you can expect more of a crossing attack. If it's Sinclair, you can expect more dynamism, 1v1 matchups on the wing, and trying to create overloads in transition. So those are kind of like the 2 styles that they can play.
Man, it gets me a little nervous, too. We didn't talk about it as well. There's been some injury concerns with the Union as well. I don't even know who the heck we're going to put out there. We have a lot of starters that have been putting on that injury list there, so it should be interesting there. But let's get right to the nitty gritty, Eddie. 2 legs, April 7th, April 14th. What do you see happening here, man? In both legs.
A month ago, or even when the draw came out, I thought it was a surefire loss. I had zero hope. I did not think Saprissa would show well. I thought he very easily eliminated, if not embarrassed, eliminated the way that we typically were against Mexican clubs. Having had now my 4th conversation with somebody from the Union, I think we have a shot. I really do think the fact that you guys, nobody that I've spoken to, can give me a lineup, and I keep hearing the thought of a 16-year-old kid starting, and I think to myself, like, you know what? This is their first go-around. They're relying on teenagers. They have to fly to Costa Rica and still play in Costa Rica. I think if Costa Rica wins if Saprissa wins the first leg, which I think they should, but they keep a clean sheet, I think Saprissa advances. I really do. I've started, maybe it's my fandom, but I started to talk myself into it.
All right.
Based off of the conversations with Union fans.
So Eddie actually tweeted at me a couple days later after that, and he kind of took that one back a little bit. We kind of talked about it before. Right now, Saprissa is not in tip-top shape, as we all kind of, seen them before, especially in this tournament. They are definitely a monster here in this tournament. But, for when I'm looking at this matchup here for the Philadelphia Union, I do like the fact that there is no fans in the stands. We talked about it before. Yeah. Costa Rica, the home field advantage that they do have down there. It is tough to play down there. Not having fans there, it is going to be a little bit easier for us. Eddie did allude that the rules in Costa Rica with COVID and social distancing is really strict. So they're not going to be playing any games down there. I think that could be a factor, and this whole underdog mentality and Jim, his history with managing in tournament-like situations with the Philadelphia Union. Look, I understand the state of the Union fan base right now. We're very skeptical of this team because of the fact that we lost 2 key pieces of a Supporters' Shield winning team, and I understand all of that. However, like Tim kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, this is CCL. Mm-hmm. Anything can happen. And if a Saprissa team looks at the Philadelphia Union and is like, yeah, maybe we got this, it could be a little bit different. It could be an interesting night. So what did you got, Justin? What did you kind of take away from the Saprissa side? What did you take away from what Eddie had to say about Saprissa? What worries you about Saprissa?
So hearing that, and then also following Eddie on Twitter, I've seen what he's been tweeting lately with David Guzman potentially being out. They took him off early as a precaution in their last game. So he said if they were without Guzman, he might be a little concerned. He's still not 100% sure. In conversation with him, it seems he's still kind of he's not 100% sure. But I think the biggest thing with them is their experience. And the 2 guys that stand out for me, he said, are Kendall Waston and I think Bolaños. Mm-hmm. Waston, if you saw him play at all in MLS, the one thing that he did is he knows how to play physical. He knows how to grind it out. He knows how to get fouls. He knows how to accumulate so many fouls that eventually by the 10th foul, the ref finally gives him a yellow card. He plays it. He plays that line very well. And I think that kind of veteran experience in the back is going to be huge. And Bolaños, from what I've heard, seems to come off the bench a lot. But he does provide that veteran experience. He comes in off that wing, fills in a few crosses, can score a banger or 2. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup just because given the next leg, I think the Union will be a bit more healthy. I mean, I expect they expect Sergio to be back. Yeah. I don't think Corey's going to be back, but if you at least have Sergio, you can have him in for the first half or throw him in as a sub if Elsinio comes back, if DeVries is healthy. Like, I feel like next week we're going to be in a better position. But that is my concern is this week is where Casper's our only healthy striker. So if that's the case, and I said this before, and I'll say this again, I think last game is a bit of a precursor. So I think the lineup you're going to see is obviously Andre and net. You're going to see Kai on at left back. You already have Elliott and Glasnes. I think Bizo will probably get the start.
Yeah.
But it also wouldn't surprise me if Harriel gets it just because they're trying to go very young and have that energy.
Mm.
Your midfield is going to be Brujo, Montero, Bedoya. And I know a lot of people have said Fontana at the 9, but I really think he's going to be at the 10. Because, that's how I saw it the last game. And that brings me to the striker pairing, which is going to be Casper and I think Paxton. And Paxton seemed like a bit of a shock to people. But given, the kid has energy. The kid also has a better nose for goal than Brendan did, and I think he can be done as a false 9. Because if you see what Casper likes to do, he shows us a lot in the last few years. Casper likes to drop deep. He likes to take people one-on-one. He likes to combo with people, but he also likes to pull out wide. He'll pull back, and he always likes having a striker partner that pulls the field, that stretches the field, that runs it deep. Whether that's Sergio, whether that's Corey, or whether that's Paxton DeVries, you have guys that can have speed, that can get behind the defense. And that plays perfectly to Casper's game. So right. I really think you're going to have someone that's going to have to be able to stretch the field. Montana is not going to be a burner by any stretch of the imagination. He's with the ball at his feet, and he's going to put shots on goal. So I don't think you don't want two guys that can kind of drop deep, because then who's coming over the top? You're missing that. Paxton's, I think, going to be on the field somewhere. You might even have McGlynn come off the bench. You might have Sullivan played last game with Paxton. I feel like this roster is going to be a very young bench, but I feel like you're going to have so many good options to with energy that I think you could see some subs around the start of the second half.
Yeah.
If it's 1-0, 1-1, if it's 0-0, to try to get energy, to try to force that goal. Because as we saw, away goals are going to be key. Portland put 2 away goals, and that's worth its weight in gold. The more away goals you put, the more pressure it puts on the other team to come back to you. And that's where you can sit back, say the Union get, say it's 2-1, and that would be amazing. The Union could then go, okay, you know what? We're going to do a 3-5-2, and we're going to have the wing backs kind of sit back and spring on the counter. And then it forces Saprissa to then be on the front foot. If the Union can get at least one away goal, it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Tim, any disagreements with the lineup there?
I have actually no disagreements with the lineup. I thought I might. I was thinking of Montana at the 9, but Justin, your point there of how he checks back and so too does Casper. I think it's going to be Paxton up top. I think he's going to get his first ever start for the Union in CCL, which is going to be a little scary, but I think he's up for it. I really do. And yeah, I agree. Just from hearing what Eddie had to say about Saprissa, he was saying, their attack and their style of play is really dictated by their wide players and how they're playing. If they are staying more wide and putting in crosses, at the end of that little interview, he said he felt more comfortable with the way that they attack if they're playing that way. Now, like Justin said, his tweets recently have kind of gone back a little bit on that style of play based on, certain people maybe being a little bit injured, things along those lines. We'll have to see that. It's definitely going to be experience in Saprissa versus the youth of the Union, and we're going to see what happens there. I have the, Union trying their best. It's so hard to say because they're not match fit. Not all of them are match fit yet. And Curtin even said that in the press conference today. He said, we're going to field a strong starting 11, but by the time the game gets into those later stages, you're going to see more and more young players kind of coming into the fold and being called upon to take on those what could be very important minutes to get another away goal or get an away goal if they haven't scored yet, things like that. As Justin said, those away goals are the most important thing in this type of competition. Yeah, I don't know. It's the crazy optimistic Union fan inside me, but I think this game ends 1-1 in a surprise draw that no one saw coming.
That would be huge, man. If we can get out of this with a draw, I mean, even if it, to me, I mean, obviously you want to get that away goal, but if we can get this 0-0 and get out of there, I mean, I'll take that, because then you're going to come back here to Chester with, you know, what will be a quote unquote sold out crowd, because obviously we all know the COVID restrictions. But that's still better than what Saprissa is going to have come tomorrow night. So that's definitely going to be huge. I think that, to me, this lineup really, Jim's going to have a tough decision, because really it's about who do you play 10? Who do you play with Casper under him? Like, that's the toughest part. I personally, I feel like we should see Fontana with Casper. But obviously, we've seen them both. We've seen we've seen Fontana at the 10. We've seen Fontana at the 9. We've seen Paxton at the 10. We've seen Paxton at the 9. So it's really, I guess, what Jim is feeling as far as tactically wise tomorrow. I want to lean towards that. Fontana is going to get the start up top. But, of course, we'll see. That would really be the question. For me, like I said, it depends on how Saprissa takes this matchup. You know, if they see a bunch of young kids – and they obviously have the experience, you know, and they you know, and some of them, these players know, like Alejandro Bedoya, right? Trying to think, no one else. This is all really pretty much new players for the Union. But other than that, I mean, if Saprissa overlooks his team, I really like the Union's chances to get some sort of result down there. And you know, Jim, I know Jim is in that dressing room, like, guys, we're the underdog. Everyone is counting us out. Go prove something. Go show the world. Philly versus everyone mentality.
The whole damn team.
Oh, you guys don't understand. Like, when I watched those, like I remember, like, for the 2019 season, like the whole run, they would show Kirchen in the dressing room, those halftime speeches, and I'd get the goosebumps, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, Coach Curtin, let's go, man. I'm excited. Let's do it. I'm so excited, but I think I agree. I believe it'll be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1 draw as well. I want to believe that we will be able to get that away goal. But guys, tomorrow it is a memorable day. Like, us three, we're going to be telling the story to our kids, to our grandkids. We saw the Union's first CONCACAF Champions League, and hopefully this creates a tradition of more Champions League appearances for Philadelphia. It would definitely be awesome. But leading into it, so obviously tomorrow the game is at 6:00. The game will be on Fox Sports 1. All these CONCACAF Champions League games are on Fox Sports 1 for the most part. And I just wanted to get this comment up. Okay, so the special announcement for everyone, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not going to be watching that game and you want to hang out with someone, we will be doing the live stream. We're going to figure out exactly where we'll put these live streams up, but for sure one of them will be on my YouTube channel. We will determine where else to put it up. But tomorrow's match starts at 6:00, so we'll probably head on around 5:30, 5:45. We'll start the pregame show. We'll get you ready for the match, and then we'll get right into it. We'll do the whole duration of the game, and then we'll do a little 30-minute post-game show. At that point, we will through halftime and the post-game, we'll have people on. So I know people loved getting the links. Tonight we weren't able to do the link, but we will be doing the link tomorrow. We'll have some people on halftime, and we'll have some people on the post-game show. So stay tuned tomorrow. That, again, will start at 5:30. We'll start tomorrow. So you'll be seeing these handsome faces calling the Philadelphia Union's first Champions League game against Deportivo Saprissa. So before we sign off, Justin, what ritual are you doing tonight? We know we're superstitious weirdos here. What superstitious thing are you doing tonight, my man?
To be honest, I'm probably going to just stay off of social media.
That's actually good.
When I go to bed, wake up, I know one of the first things I do is I usually check Twitter to see. I think to really keep myself from losing my own mind, I think I'm just gonna try. Now I might fail very early on, but I really think I'm gonna try to just stay off of social media, just keep it very calm, very relaxed, and go into it with an open mind. Now it probably will fail by lunch, but it's Tim
How do we
knows
wait for this?
I'm probably going to fail pretty early on in that. I'm nothing if not completely irrational.
You know what's crazy? I just want to make this point real quick. And you guys know we always correlate all the Union stuff to Philly sports fans. Like for Philly sports fans, like we've seen a Stanley Cup, we've seen a World Series, we've seen an NBA Finals, we've seen a Super Bowl. We've never seen a Supporter Shield. We have never seen CONCACAF Champions League. So these are all experiences that we're all appreciating together.
Yeah.
So this is, again, another reason why you should be on board with the Philadelphia Union. Tim, what's your superstition? What's Tim going to be doing tonight?
I'm going to watch the rest of the CONCACAF Champions League games that are on right now. I want to see how Atlanta does with this red card and goalie situation.
Yes, they just started second half.
Yeah, but no, my superstitions for the Union usually get started and they're different every season. So I don't have anything right now. I think I just have the pregame jitters, so I need to kind of figure it out. And then I'll never reveal what they are because it's superstition. So that's where I'm at. But no, I'm looking forward to tomorrow and getting on the stream and watching this with you guys. It's going to be fun.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it tomorrow. I think tonight I'm going to be sleeping in a Union t-shirt. That's about my superstition. I'll be sleeping in a Union t-shirt. Tomorrow will be Union. I'm the plan is tomorrow to do a little TikTok for the hyping the game tomorrow. So we'll try to either get to Chester or Philadelphia. We'll see how time works tomorrow. But real quick, I appreciate this comment here, Owen, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. Justin and Tim can allude to this as well. I'll be honest. I am the worst when it comes to messaging, and I'm 100%. I'm opening to like recognizing that it's something I'm definitely working on. If it's something important with our group chat, I definitely try to make emphasis. But I hate messaging. I hate that in this generation we have to text each other. I would so much rather you call me and ask me what we're going to do tonight instead of texting me. And that's just how I work. I know I'm old school when it comes to that, but that's just me.
Old man yelling at cloud.
Yes, pretty much. That's why I enjoy and I do enjoy doing stuff like this. I do enjoy the streaming, and I do enjoy having you guys come on and we can hang out. I would rather us have a face-to-face interaction than through texting, typing, or whatnot. So that's kind of my stance on that. But I understand the sentiment, and I really appreciate that. That really means a lot to me. So thank you. Thank you so much. Ian agrees with me there. So guys, so thank you so much for tuning in. That's another episode of DOOP by the River. Again, we will be doing the stream, so hopefully we get to see you guys tomorrow during the Union's first ever Champions League game against Deportivo Saprissa. So it should be a lot of freaking fun tomorrow, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget this recording here will be on my YouTube channel right after this. And also, you can listen to this if you want to listen to while you're studying, working out, whatever you do. It'll be on wherever you stream podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, all that good stuff. So you guys can stream that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Justin Fryberg, and that is Tim Lovinguth. I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to DOOP on. Let's go, Union! It is CCL, baby! Woo!